Good morning, you guys. Sorry, I just noticed one of my chickens is eating some of my plants. He's being very loud right now. What's the problem, Bok Bok? Why are you being so loud? I didn't think that I was gonna get back in to the spirit of gardening. Last year was a really hard year for me. The beginning of this year was really hard, but I'm feeling so much better, and I've been working really hard in the garden. Might not look like a lot, but this is a lot of work, and I wanted to show you guys what I've done so far. All right, things might be a little messy right now, but this is just outside our camper, right outside the front door. First, I wanted to just do some herbs out here, but then I decided to move some of my other plants up here so they're just easier for me to care for. I do still have the large in-ground garden back there, and then as well as the garden over there. That I probably won't do much with that this year. Please don't mind the chairs in the middle of they're going to the truck. Some of my peppers, including my daddle. This was my giant daddle from the 2 previous seasons, maybe 3, that you guys have seen. This plant was taller than I was. I had cut it all the way back. We had several very hard freezes in Florida this year, which is really strange, but I cut it back hoping that it would come back, and it did not. Not yet. So I went ahead and bought some starts at my local nursery and put them at the base of this daddle so I'd know what they were. Only thing in that pot. And then in this pot I've got some French thyme. I'm really hoping my herbs will do well for me this year. The chickens, of course, keep coming up and pruning them for me, so maybe they will help. Maybe they'll destroy it. I don't know, but I love thyme. It's one of my favorite herbs. So I've got thyme here. I've got some chives here that we've had for 2 years now. They used to be over by the quail cage. Finally decided to put them in a big pot because they were in a little pot like this. This is one of my peppers that I thought was dead. It was in the in-ground garden. I pulled it out because I saw new growth and we had to till the garden, so I went ahead and stuck it in the pot next to the one that has not come back. This one tried to come back and then died, so I'm hoping it'll return. Here was another one. I believe this was a bell pepper. So far we don't have any growth on this. It may not come back. This is my comfrey that was out in the in-grown garden. Again, we had to till, so I pulled everything out of there, stuck this in the pot, and it's coming back well. These are some green onions, these really tall ones here. This is an actual bulbing onion that was going bad. I threw in here. These green onions just got really wilty and old in the refrigerator, so I just tossed them in here, and they have been giving me lots of chives. I don't, or green onion scallions, I don't know. But I have been harvesting them in soups and stuff. I'm wondering if they will bulb. I don't know how that works. I bought this tomato start. It is a heirloom variety from the same local nursery. Black Krim, I've never tried before. But I wanted these nice plants up right by the house. This one, I'm not sure what variety. It's a potato leaf variety. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Over here I've got another thyme. This one is, I believe, English thyme. I don't know where my little marker went. I had a marker here. Pretty sure it's English thyme. Another one of my peppers I pulled up out of the in-ground, and then one that was already in here that is not coming back so far. And then these really lovely marigolds that I found for like $1 something. They're so big and fluffy. They look fake. Over here on this side, this will be my 457 millionth try at successfully growing rosemary. I don't know what it is. Supposedly it'll grow like a weed. I kill it every single time. Overwatering, underwatering, I don't know. It's looking rough already, and I've had it for like 2 weeks, so it may not make it. I got some fruit trees from Home Depot. This is a, they call it a cocktail tree. It's got a Meyer lemon and a kiwi lime plant all in the same pot. These will eventually get potted out into the yard. I just stuck them here for now. And then I got this rose. It was really beautiful when I brought it home. It had some beautiful peachy orange blooms up here that died the same day I brought them home, and it has not bloomed since, and it's starting to look a little sick. That's probably gonna die on me. It's been a while since I showed you guys the quail setup. We actually have 2 sick bays now. So that's quail are over there. We've got Big Bird here. He has an eye injury. And then we have a little guy in the back who was getting picked on. So they've been separated for the time being until everybody gets better. And then all our little quail here. So over here in this spot, this is our massive 20-plus-year-old mulberry here that is currently fruiting. I'll show you some of that in just a minute. There's just so many even green berries on here. But I wanted this to kind of have like a, I don't know, like a fairy tale look to it. It won't work out, but I did hang a bunch of my potted house plants that I'm hoping will come back after the really hard freezes we had. These are our mulberry trees. Most of the berries are still green, but you can see there's a few in there, and I've been harvesting some, but this is the most prolific tree. I've got this little bird cage here. This is actually a plant for my mother. I need to do some pruning. This is a creeping... Is it a creeping jasmine? I don't know. It's like snow in summer or something. My mom had mentioned on her birthday that she really wanted some in her yard, so I found this plant the very same week at my local nursery and picked it up for her. Got some other things. Spider plant trying to come back. Here was my experimental bucket from last year. So this bin, I cleaned out my chicken coop. This came straight out of the chicken coop. All this dirt, all this poopy dirt came straight out of the chicken coop. I've always been told that you cannot plant straight in fresh chicken manure, like cleaned out. I don't know if I just got lucky, but everything I planted in here did really, really good last year. And I've got a few things growing in here. This is a fig. I just kind of housed these in here over the winter to keep them safe. This fig is looking lovely, so that'll get it planted out. And then I have mango and avocado in here, or I did. I'm not sure which survived, but seedlings. Also, all of this right here is plantain that came from that plantain plant that I had in here that reseeded itself and has reseeded itself for me all over my yard, which is exactly what I wanted because this is medicine. I also got dandelion to reseed all over the place. That is also medicine. It's also food, and it makes an amazing jelly, so I'm really excited about that. I also bought this giant hanging cherry tomato plant at my local nursery. It was hanging from one of these guys. It was raining pretty hard yesterday and it got soaked and it was so heavy, so I thought maybe I should take it down. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I do want it hanging from somewhere, obviously. It's already got little tomatoes on it. I bought it that way. I'm not that great of a gardener, but got mainly for my boyfriend. I think he likes cherry tomatoes. I don't really care for them, but that's going to go somewhere in the garden. Now for the in-ground garden. I'm not even sure that I can call it that fully anymore because I am changing some things around. So, my boyfriend came through. Well, I ripped everything out of the ground first. Tried to do some weeding. It was taking way too long because this is our weed situation. This is a mixture of Florida betony, which is an edible root crop. It's wild though, and it completely takes over. Not blackberries, but something very similar, very small, like brambleberries mixed in with there, as well as dollar weed mixed in, and it just creates these huge, tall mats very quickly, and it's very hard to take care of. So my boyfriend tilled everything up. I borrowed a potato fork or something from my boss. Tried to get all the roots out and then pulled out as much as I could. That's what these massive piles are, but you can see, like, if it touches the ground, it's coming back. They don't care. So after I did all of that, which took me a full day, I cleaned out the entire chicken coop, pulled up all the layers and layers, because I've been doing the deep layer method for a couple years now, 2 years now. And it was very deep, and it was very hard. It was hard work. I learned to use the tractor so that I could just put it in the tractor bucket and drive it over here and dump it in. And we should have tilled it into the garden before laying this plastic down, but I was so ready to get stuff going, get these trellises up, that I was just like, you know what? I just like really watered it in and hoped that, you know, most of the nutrients washed down. I'm hoping that it would work that way. I hope I didn't fail this garden already. But anyway, got that spread out everywhere, wet it down so the nutrients could like leach into the soil, the dirt. And then I laid all this plastic down. So this is a weed barrier plastic. It wasn't like super expensive, but it wasn't really cheap either. It was 4 foot by 100 foot rolls for $50 each at my Tractor Supply company. After laying this down, I realized that my garden is not square at all. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be beautiful. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out how I want to lay everything out. Obviously, I finally, after 7 years of wanting these, I got cattle panel trellises. Okay? When I first started hearing about them, they were $18 a piece. Now they're $40. My boyfriend bought them for me. Thank you, baby. He put them up, or we put them up. And I am so excited. I hope my plants grow well enough to cover this. I'm praying, because the idea is to put a little table, a little 2-seater table right here, and for he and I to sit down and have our talks and maybe hang some lights right here in the front of it. And I've got 2 of these, you can see. I've got some squash and then some peppers around, and I even planted some marigold seeds. They'll all kind of, I think, grow at different times. So the squash will be the first to produce, and then once that's kind of dying out, these peppers will start kind of, you know, growing faster in the heat of the summer. In between all that, my marigolds should pop up, hopefully. And then I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not sure yet, but this one I don't have any soil in yet. And to fill that one up over there took me 10 5-gallon buckets of soil. So that's a lot of soil I'm gonna have to to bring in. But yeah, so I've got these 2 lined up here. Now, over here in this corner are my jalapeno peppers. I've got them relatively close together because peppers like to hold hands. So I just kind of went zigzag through here, giving them lots of friends to play with. And then I was going to continue in this corner, and I was going to put some tomatoes back here. But somebody has decided to move in, so I'm going to have to take care of that. Because every time I come over here to try to plant, that happens. So the ants have decided that this is their corner of the garden, and they are making their permanent home here. That is not gonna work. So I've got to get some stuff to take care of that. At the bottom of each poles of this first trellis, this back trellis, I've got 2 cucumber plants. Hopefully they'll make it. And then on this front trellis, at the bottom of each of the poles, I've got 2 cantaloupe. Cantaloupe and cucumber are 2 things that were specifically requested. So that's what I'm going to grow for my family here. In the back over here, I've got 4 holes with watermelon seeds. I may have planted them too deep. We did use some topsoil that we ordered for the driveway in here. It had a lot of clay in it. So I'm wondering if it's going to be too hard for my watermelons to break through, but I'm hoping that they'll grow and vine out that way instead of out into the garden. And then with this exposed soil right here, I put a couple of corn seeds because I was planting corn over in this corner, and I still had some in my hand, and that was empty space and all that. So I've got approximately 50 holes right here. Again, my corn is very close together because they have to touch. They have to touch each other. Their little tassels have to be able to touch each other in order to pollinate and get any corn. So I've put them very close together. And in this corner and the other corner with the watermelon, we had a lot more chicken manure in these corners. So these are heavy feeders. I'm hoping it's going to work out like that. Now for the rest of this, I have no idea what I want to do yet. I want to make it lovely, inviting, magical. I don't want just straight rows of things. That's why I brought in some of these above ground things to give it, you know, different, I can't form the words. I need the words to explain what I'm trying to say. Some visual interest. There we go. So we'll have the big trellises, hopefully with the beautiful vining things growing over them. We'll have these two big, these are just, wow, camera, dryer drums. And they work great. They work great. And they're light. Like you can move them around. I can carry it with one hand. I could carry it with 2 fingers. So if you ever come across any dryers on the side of the road and you do gardening, scrap the rest of the dryer, get you a couple bucks for it, keep the dryer drums. They're awesome. If you don't have a lot of soil, put some rotting logs and stuff. That's what I did before in this one here. When I went to transfer, because the dirt was originally in that one, and I moved this one in here first. So I had to transfer the dirt from that one into this one. All the logs, minus a couple, were rotted down and turned into gorgeous soil. So try that. But for the rest of the space, I don't know what to do. I don't want to just have rows, like I said. I want to have, you know, walkways, and I was thinking maybe of doing like a herb spiral somewhere with rocks. Obviously I gotta have some room to walk through, so I'll leave this space to walk through and then the space along there to walk through. So if you guys have any suggestions of how to make this a more beautiful kind of place. I forgot that I did just put some sunflower seeds back here along this back fence as well, so anywhere that the soil is not covered by the plastic, I stuck different sunflower seeds in, and the ants were living back here as well. So they probably won't let those grow. I've got to take care of those ants. So that's that for this part of the garden. Back here, I've been growing in this bed for a couple years now. Over the winter, I cleaned everything out except for, this is another fig tree that was dying until I stuck it in here. Now it's looking a lot better. I had the only blueberry that was left after I bought 3, the other 2 died. This is the only one that was left, and it was flowering like crazy, but it didn't have a friend to pollinate it. So I went and got this one to help pollinate that one. You have to have at least 2 different varieties to pollinate your blueberries. So those are right next to each other. And then also, I pulled up a dandelion plant from out in the city. Excuse me, Carl. You're very loud. And I plopped it in here, and looky, it grew. Actually, it's so many. It's so many plants. And I've just been popping the seed heads off and blowing them around the yard and getting it to pop up everywhere. So it's popping up. Some more here. Also got some, I thought that was plantain. I think that's actually pokeberry. I'll have to pull that up. This is that metal bed I did the tutorial on how to set it up, and I showed you guys how to fill it with soil and plant it up with you guys last year. These are these weeds I'm telling you about. There's nothing that can be done about it. It just completely takes over. See those berries, and these are the plants that put off those rattlesnake shoot looking things that you can eat, and they're really good. So I started trying to weed this out, and this is not going to happen, not without some serious gloves. And then I noticed this. This is, I believe, my echinacea. I didn't expect it to come back. So I was going to rip this off, take it into the in-ground garden, refill it with soil, which I think it took like 8 bags of soil even after I put logs and stuff down. So that would be a lot of soil. Carl! That's enough! It still wasn't filled up all the way. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I don't know. We'll see. And this is the rest of my beautiful garden that you guys have enjoyed with me over the last couple of years. The pallets are rotting and breaking. It's become a very dangerous situation out here. The dresser that I had that fish tank on totally collapsed. It's all a mess. So I'm not sure that this area will get cleaned up in time for this year's garden. And I do have, this is just more mess everywhere, my 2 nectarine trees that I bought at the end of last season and stuck in the ground. This one's putting off new green growth, and the other one, which is on the other side of that corner right there, is putting off flowers. I'll show you in a second. Here are what's left of the little flower buds on this other nectarine tree. They fizzled out. They were really pretty when they were fully open and not dying back, but this is the variety of both of them. I got them real cheap. I think they were marked down to $10 from $40. But this is the greenhouse. Got mint coming back there. It's just a mess. Yeah. This is her. Wow. A lot of work needs to be done here. It's very dry. I have not watered in probably 8 months. This is pokeweed. It's a beautiful plant. It looks like you could eat it. You technically could. Not the berries, though. You could swallow the berries whole. We're not talking about them in this video anyway. I've got a rose. I've got some elephant ear. I have some bananas. I do have some ginger down there that I'm hoping will pop up some new shoots. But all of this is coming out eventually. My ficus. Hopefully all of this is coming out. It'll get tilled up. I'll lay down some weed barrier. I don't know yet. I wanted to do the squash in ground in here, but I just think the weeds are so vivacious. Is that the word? You can see that I think I'm going to have to use weed barrier and do them in pots. I think that's my only option at this point. That's the garden update. Thank you for watching. I do have some quail eggs and some little tiny chicken eggs in the incubator. Carl, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get out. You better stay out of my garden beds, sir. Let me find out. Let me find out you've been... Let me find out. I will get you. I will get you. This is our rooster house. Never did get cleaned up or anything, but they're in there. And we had no choice. They were tearing our girls up. They were fighting really badly. They were jumping all over the vehicles. Several of our vehicles have deep scratches in them. We had to lock them up. There's only 3 in there. There's 1, 2, 3 running loose. But they're well behaved. Except for the guy who's following me, who apparently has been digging in my garden beds. Anyway. Alright, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye, guys.